Hello and welcome to Knowledgist. In this very session, we will be covering the banking and finance for the month of January 2023, which is going to be very crucial for your central bank scale 3, scale 4, upcoming RRB exam, scale 2, scale 3, upcoming Indian Bank, Bank of India in all cadres. For banking and financial awareness, this session is going to be one of most useful sessions for your exam point of view. तो आज की सेशन में पहले हम कवर करेंगे द मेजर न्यूज आर्टिकल्स फॉर द मंथ ऑफ जनवरी 2023 and then the MCQs. And the consolidated MCQ for the month of August 2022 to January 2023 is shared and updated in the applications for enrolled students. Please go through that, and it will cover in central bank, it will cover maximum of your syllabus in scale 3, sorry, in paper 3, right? And before we go further, I will urge all of you to subscribe to India's only dedicated professional banking platform. And you in the links provided in description, you can find the Central Bank of India crash course, RRB crash course, Bank of India crash course, and dedicated WhatsApp group, etc. And you know why to join Knowledgist. In any lateral entry and professional banking exam, we produce 85 out of 100 selected students. And in last 2 years, we produced more than 6,000 students in professional banking exams. So without wasting time, let's start the news articles for the month of banking for the month of January 2023. Then we will start discussing the MCQs. So SBI, ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank, these are three DCBs in India. So Reserve Bank of India said that SBI, ICICI and HDFC continue to be in domestic systemically important banks under same bucketing structure as in the 2021. And the DCB framework requires the Reserve Bank of India to disclose the names of the banks designated a DCB and place these banks in appropriate buckets depending upon their systemic importance scores. So, based on SIS, that is systemic importance scores, their RWA, their required capital reserve is decided. And based in the bucket in which a DCB is placed, an additional common equity requirement has to be applied to it. Okay, additional capital requirement and leverage ratio as well for DCBs. Okay, so can you tell me what is the leverage ratio required for the normal banks and for the DCBs in comment section? Yes. So under the RBI framework for dealing with DCBs, SBI is placed in third bucket, whereby it is required to maintain additional common equity tier 1 capital at 0.6 percentage of its risk weighted assets. So the total requirement for Indian banks, including the capital conservation buffer, is 11.5 percentage. So SBI needs to maintain another 0.6 percentage in order to remain in DCBs in the third bucket of it. ICICI and HDFC are placed in the first bucket, whereby they are required to preserve or keep additional CET1 at 0.2 percentage of the RWA risk weighted asset. अगर risk weighted asset CRAR के बारे में डिटेल्ड में जानना है तो हमारे इंटरनल बेसल क्लास को आपको कंप्लीटली कवर करना होगा, ठीक है? तो ये सेक्शन बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है अपकमिंग एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू के लिए. DCBs आर द बैंक्स which are too big to fail and has a systemical importance in Indian financial sector. If one of these banks fail, the entire financial sector of India will collapse. So these are important banks. They need to maintain additional capital CRAR, which is decided on the RWA. ठीक है? For normal banks, it is 11.5. For ICICI HDFC, it will be 11.7. And for SBI, it will be 12.1. Clear? Including capital conservation buffer, 2.5 percentage of capital conservation buffer. Otherwise, it is 9 percentage. In global standard, it is 8 percentage. Here is a ticker for you about risk weighted assets. Cash balance in RBI, government and credit guarantee fund trust guaranteed amount, loan against FD and LIC policy will carry 0 percentage risk weight. Government approved securities is 2.5 percentage. not only the assets or loans carry a risk, but also the investments by the bank also carry a certain amount of risk. So based on that, they are given a parameter. Okay. Balance with banks other than RBI, which maintain the 9% CRAR, and secured loan to staff will carry a 20% of risk weightage. Housing loan, gold loan, loan guaranteed by ECGC 50, housing loan above 75 lakhs, retail loan up to 5 crore, 75% of risk weightage. Forex loan to PSU, commercial real estate, consumer credit, personal loan, education loan to carry 100% risk weight. Credit card, capital market exposure, carry 125 percentage, 125 percentage, and the highest is the investment in venture capitals that are 150 percentage risk weight. So based on the risk weight, if you lend or invest in these products, you have to keep aside similar amount of money based on the RWA, for your CRAR or capital reserve. Clear? UPI transactions surged 7.7 percentage in December to rupees 12.8 lakh crore in January. So whenever it comes to bank exams, the digital banking segment plays a very vital role. So payment transaction via UPI network has surged 7.7 percentage on month high of 12.8 lakh crore in December against a drop of 1.7 percentage in the month of November. Clear? So why I go with the theories or not by discussing the MCQs. MCQs we provide you in a complete quiz manner in portal, also in PDFs. But these are important point. These are important for your exam point of view to understand what happened in your surroundings, because sometimes question maker can turn the quiz, turn the question. For me, for my panelist, for my question makers, I believe something else is a question, but for them they could turn the question. So you just open your eyes and ears, understand what has happened, then you will be able to answer all of them in a very confident manner. Okay. So public sector Indian Overseas Bank has elevated Ajay Kumar Srivastav as its managing director and chief executive officer with effect from January 1st. So as anything could be a question in from financial awareness, but I have not seen a question in last 3 years related to the tagline of a bank, headquarter of a bank, and about the chairman of a bank. So you can skip it. Sanjay Mudaliar joins IOB as a executive director. KBG Bank enrolls 1.28 lakh PM SBI account in a single day, which is a record in itself. Okay, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. The Karnataka Vikas Grameen Bank and Indian Regional Rural Bank sponsored by Canara Bank. Now, RBI opens a sandbox to 6 firms to test anti-fraud solutions. Then, in the next slide, I will be telling you what is a sandbox or a regulatory sandbox. The Reserve Bank of India has selected 6 entities, including Bhavan Cybertech, Ready Watch Information Analytics, and HSBC for the test phase under regulatory sandbox for the theme prevention and mitigation of financial fraud. These selected entities will commence testing their product from February 2023. And what is a sandbox? In the world of cybersecurity, a sandbox environment is an isolated virtual machine in which potentially unsafe software code can execute without affecting the network resources or local applications. It is a technical term, but in simple words or in regulatory terms, when you test a new software, new program, if you allow it to everyone, then there could be risk of failure, there could be risk of theft, there could be there could be any amount of risk. Okay. So under an watchdog, under a certain area, within a certain limited players, the application or the program is being tested. Okay. In case the program failed, there will be no larger impact on business of the organization or the software. Okay. So regulatory sandbox refers to a live testing of a new product or services in a controlled regulatory environment. It acts as a safe space for the business, as the regulator may or may not permit certain relaxations for the limited purpose of testing. The sandbox allows the regulator, the innovators, the financial service providers, and the customers to conduct field tests to collect evidence on the benefits and risks of new financial innovations while carefully monitoring and containing their risk. So, you have seen the recently newly launched e-rupee, digital rupee by Reserve Bank of India, is under a regulatory sandbox. Very limited players are allowed to transact with it because they are not yet confident whether the mass deployment of e-rupee will succeed or not. Will the software support or not? Will there be any potential risk of fraud or the money being theft by cyber criminals or not? So these are called sandbox. HDFC partners with Microsoft for digital transformation journey, and so to leverage Microsoft's Azure platform to consolidate and modernize its enterprise data landscape through a federated data lake to scale information management capabilities across enterprise reporting. So, for your exam point of view, you should be knowing only HDFC Bank partners with Microsoft for digital transformation. Such a question is asked when the exam is very near. If the central bank exams are to be held, such a question could be important for the month of March. But these points are not important for a longer period of time. 5 months hence, if an exam is to be conducted, this piece of information will be useless for you. Bank of Maharashtra, the numero is now numero uno in terms of performance among public sector lenders. So, for last 1 or 2 years, when the Bank of Maharashtra came out of PCA, it has constantly outsmarted all the public sector banks in terms of growth. In some year, it was the leading public sector bank in MSME growth. Now, in business growth, in percentage basis, it stands number one among the public sector banks. Bank of Maharashtra said its growth in advances grew nearly 22%. Bank of Maharashtra is headquartered at Pune. Okay. Annapurna Finance has applied for universal bank license. There is now a on-tap bank license program. Earlier, there was a separate window is opened for bank licensing. Every interested player, as per the rules and regulations, can apply between these dates. Now there is a on tap license. Anytime anyone can apply for a universal bank license. Like in central bank, you can apply for the exam of 11th of February, but it was a on tap application. Anytime you can apply for a job in Central Bank of India. Similarly, to get a universal license or payments bank license or in small finance bank, RBI has allowed on tap by bank licensing. If you meet all the terms and conditions, then you will be allowed to get a on tap license. And yes, again, after watching closely the exam question patterns, I always say what is going to be happen are never become a question, are never asked in bank exam. So what has really happened constitutes constitutes a question for you. Clear? So it has applied but not got the license. So it may not be important for your exam point of view. Okay. The Bhubaneswar based microfinance company Annapurna Finance. RBI need to visit. RBI says there is no need to visit banks to update your KYC. As per the AML KYC norms, in every 10 years, the low risk customers, 8 years, in every 8 years, the medium risk customers, and in every 2 years, the high risk customers need to visit to the banks. But in case you are in a low risk customer and your KYC is updated in bank, and after the expiry of 10 years, if your address is not changed, mobile number, mail ID is not changed, then you as a customer can only give a declaration to the bank saying that I declare that no previous information has changed. So allow me to operate my bank account for another 10 years. That is the norm for new KYC. You don't need to visit to the branch through your mobile application, through your SMS services, registered mobile number, mail ID. You can update or give a declaration for the same. Okay, Indian Bank to hold Vostro accounts of three Sri Lankan banks. So we discussed in our forex session what is Nostro and Vostro. So Indian Bank, which has had a long presence in Sri Lanka, has received the regulatory go-ahead to hold special rupee Vostro accounts in three banks from South Asian island nation, which is struggling to tide over the serious foreign exchange crunch. In the wake of the Ukraine war, India has aggressively started dealing with rupee as a mode of payment for international transactions. They have successfully made the rupee ruble trade. Ruble is the currency for Russia, and then they have done it with Iran. Now they are doing it with Sri Lanka. So a Vostro account in local currency would enable Lanka to import from India without dipping into or its dwindling dollar supply. Without any uh, use of any foreign currency reserve, Sri Lankan government can deal with Indian rupee and can transact with us. Okay. So there is a little clarification about Nostro and Vostro. Nostro is an account that a bank holds in a foreign currency in another bank. In Latin words, it means ours, often used to simplify settlements of trade and foreign exchange transactions. Vostro is an account that other foreign banks hold with our bank in the domestic currency. In Latin words, it is your bank with us. Okay. So Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance partners with PSB, Punjab and Sindh Bank in a banca insurance tie-up. This much of news is important for you, so I read it. FSIB recommends MDs for Bank of Baroda and Bank of India. It is Financial Service Institution Board Bureau. It has replaced Bank Board Bureau Triple B in June 2022, and it has recommended the Devadatta Chand for the post of MD for Bank of Baroda, and Chand is currently an executive editor, a director for BOB. Okay, the autonomous professional body has also recommended Rajneesh Karnatak to the post of MD and CEO in Bank of India. So let's look into the Financial Service Institution Bureau, FSIB. FSIB constituted by central government for the appointment of whole-time director, non-executive chairpersons in the boards of financial services and institutions. The MD, CEO, WTD, whole-time director, etc., will be appointed by FSIB. It has replaced the earlier Bank Board Bureau. There was a case against Bank Board Bureau for appointing somebody in a lower scale to the major position of a bank, to the MD position of the bank, without considering this seniority into account. Okay. So, along with the responsibilities of appointment in public sector institutions, public sector financial institutions, FSIB will also be doing some advisory work for the government in various matters. It will provide advisory services to the central government. Now NPST launches Time Pay Evoke, the Network People Service Technology Limited, a leading technology service provider. I will make it to the big screen. And if you are new to the platform, not yet subscribed, then don't hesitate to subscribe, join our dedicated courses. You know, we are the only dedicated professional banking platform, and so is our premium courses available in our website. And if you preparing for scale 2, scale 3, scale 4 level, then this is a platform which you are looking for. Otherwise, if you are comfortable with the beginner level of banking, then you can go to any other platform of your choice. But if you want serious content of professional banking, you have no other option than Knowledgist. You can ask your Google device, your iPhone device, which is India's best banking lateral entry platform. The name which will pop up is the hard work we have done in recent years. So, Network People Services Technology Limited, a leading fintech solution provider, has unveiled Time Pay Evoke as a UPI API engine to articulate its mission and relationship with digital merchants, payment aggregators, service providers, and digital payment landscape. So now NPST is working to launch Time Pay Evoke by using UPI in the API. Okay, so I will be telling you what is API in UPI. So, you know, when you go to the payment gateway, when you go to check something, to check out something, even you buy the Knowledgist course, then you click on the courses, choose your course of choice, then the payment gateway link pops up. The payment gateway could be Ledger Pay, Instamojo, etc. Then they have the integrated services of various organizations like ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, etc. cards. Then you pay. So there is a link between bill desk, etc. These are payment gateway service providers. So API is an application programming interface, is a software interface that allows two applications to interact with each other without users intervention. Okay. So in any application now UPI can be integrated, and the process of integration of UPI into any website can be done through this API, which is developed by Evoke Time Pay. And API is a collection of software or functions and procedure. In simply terms, API means a software code that can be accessed for or executed. So it could be a question for your computer exam, but in banking they may not ask you about API. But yes, UPI can now be integrated to any website or any other platform through Evoke Time Pay. Yes. Bank of Baroda CEO Sanjeev Chada's term extended till 30th of June. BOB launches the Bikram credit card exclusively for Indian defense personnel. Could be little useful as it is a public sector bank and the service is rendered to none other than our defense personnel. So just understand the name of the card, that is Bob Bikram card. Reserve Bank of India directs SBM Bank to stop all transactions under liberalized remittance scheme. We read in a detail about LRS. So any violation under FEMA will be punishable by the Reserve Bank of India as it is the regulator. Okay, and under Section 10 of FEMA Act, RBI is allowed to appoint authorized persons for the use of forex, right? So liberalized remittance scheme means up to 2.5 lakh dollar to uh, 2 lakh 50,000 dollar can be sent outside and can be received without any approval from RBI. Okay. So Reserve Bank of India has directed SBM to stop all the transactions under LRS. The central bank said its action is based on certain material supervisory concern observed in the bank. So maybe the money is being repatriated from India. So that's why it has been it has been directed to stop all the transactions. The limit is 2,50,000 per financial year per person. Okay. SBM is State Bank of Mauritius, not State Bank of Mysore, which ceased to exist and which is later merged with State Bank of India. Okay. And SBM has also raised 99 crore from Life Insurance Corporation India through the issue of Tier 2 bonds under Basel norms. Okay. Paytm City end the tie-up for co-branded credit card ahead of City's merger with Axis Bank. Clear? Pine Labs acquires enterprise platform Saluto Wellness. Canara Bank transfers entire 40% shareholding in Russian JV to SBI. So Canara Bank has transferred its entire 40% shareholding in Commercial Indo Bank LLC, CIBL Moscow to State Bank of India. This follows the bank entering into a share sale agreement in relation to sale of equity shares held by its CIBL with SBI. Based on the share sale agreement and with the consent of the Central Bank of Russia, the entire share held by Canara Bank was transferred to SBI as on November 30, 2022. CIBL is incorporated in not CIBL, it is CIBL, incorporated in the year 2003 as a joint venture in Russia between SBI and Canara Bank. Okay, it will be the overseas arm of completely of SBI. Okay, ISAB Bank begins Inclusive Finance India. It bags Inclusive Finance Award 2022. When it comes to award received by various banks, it is important. ISAB Small Finance Bank has bagged the prestigious Inclusive Finance India Award 2022 for its contribution in advancing the goal of financial inclusion and supporting inclusive growth. The Inclusive Finance India Award is an initiative of Access Development Services constituted in the year 2009 in partnership with HSBC India. It is headquartered in Thrissur. Paytel partners with HDB Fin Services to offer loans for lifestyle products. HDB is a subsidiary of HDFC. Okay. South India Bank ties up with SAIL for financing the dealers. It is headquartered in Thrissur again, South Indian Bank, SIB, not SBI. Okay. Proteins Arm gets RBI's nod for account aggregator license. We read about account aggregators. So, in 3 months back in our RBI circular gist session, so Protein eGov Technologies, formerly NSDL e-governance infrastructure, has received the RBI's approval for its wholly owned subsidiary to operate as an account aggregator. Account aggregators help individuals securely and digitally access and share information from one financial institutions to the other, where they have accounts under a regulated financial entity under a regulated financial environment. So, if you are having an account with State Bank of India, if required by the ICICI Bank, they can ask any information from SBI or through an account aggregator. An account aggregator collects the data of its users and provides it to the third party with the consent of the customer. Protein is a digital building block used by the government or NSDL. NCAS gets RBI's in principle node to operate as a online payment aggregator. So payment aggregator is a recent phenomena. So like civil, they will be providing information to other financial users. Okay, there are FIU and aggregators, and then there will be people who are requiring the information and who will be providing the information. Spending management platform NCAS received the in principle approval by the Reserve Bank of India to operate as an online payment aggregator. Payment aggregators facilitate e-commerce sites and merchants to accept payment instruments from the customer. They help merchants to connect the with acquirers. Okay, banks get time limit till December 31st for locker agreements. We read about it in detail in our RBI circular gist session for the month of January 2023. Go through it. As you know, we have discussed about Amitabh Das Gupta's curious case in Supreme Court and the judgment thereafter, which has made Reserve Bank of India to formalize new agreement under IBA for the banks. Okay, so RBI proposes banks to design one credit loss model. RBI says banks in India released the draft banks in India released the draft guidelines for banks to make provisions on the expected credit loss basis as against the current framework of incurred loss method. The RBI has proposed that banks will be allowed to design one credit loss models and spread the higher provisions over a 5-year period under a new year system of setting aside money lending. Okay, the RBI has sought feedback on the issue of February 28th, and the measures will be applicable to bank loans advances, including sanctioned limits under revolving credit facilities. Paytm Payments Bank get RBI's approval not to operate Bharat Bill Payment Operating Unit BBPOU. Okay, so it is an arm of Bharat Bill Payment System or BBPS, and it is given the license under Payment and Settlement Systems Act 2007. RBI releases draft paper on securitization of stressed asset. You know, ARCs buy the assets from various banks where the assets are stressed or under NPA, and banks sell it to clean their books to remove their headaches. Okay, because for banks, if there is a loss asset, if there is a asset which is in doubtful status or in NPA substandard status, they have to keep aside similar amount of money for provisioning. So it is again a loss for the bank. Their additional amount of capital is deployed towards provisioning, which in a way is a loss for the bank, is a opportunity cost for the bank, because they are not allowed to invest that of money or to lend that money to generate more profit, right? So they will be very happy to sell it in a low cost. And ARCs for asset reconstruction companies, it is a win-win situation. They buy the entire portfolio in a 40%, 30% haircut, and then they collect the money from the borrowers and they earn the profit. The Reserve Bank of India has laid down the framework for on securitization of stressed assets. and can be extended to standard asset with a certain ceiling. So even before the loan portfolio has gone into NPA, you can now sell it. The current guidelines under SSA standard assets eligible to be included as SMA. The accounts, those who are not in NPA, but under SMA 012 specially mentioned account can now be transferred to ARCs or under the securitization of assets. Okay. So, in case of loans to the large corporates where the cash flows are uncertain, and delay payments are observed, there can also be that asset can also be, or that portfolio can also be transferred to ARC through the model of securitization. And you can learn more about securitization asset reconstruction in and special purposed vehicle SPV in our surface session. Okay. 800 more cooperative banks set to join AEPS platform. The continuous focus is towards the growth of cooperative bank model in India to promote the seamless banking transactions and financial inclusion. So now more than 800 cooperative banks given are allowed to operate in Aadhaar enabled payment system AEPS, where you just need to give your Aadhaar number, then a biometric verification. You can withdraw or deposit the money into your account. Okay. PNB and Aadhaar Housing Finance enter into co-lending partnership. We read about co-lending partnership when bigger banks are not able to reach the priority sector lending PSL customers. Okay, and they have a high target of 40 percentage of their entire portfolio needs to be lent to the priority sector. And in case they fail to do so, they will be penalized. They will be forced to buy PSLC certificate or will be forced to invest in invest in securities of NABARD where they will be paid less interest. And now you have to tell me, in case they fail, in what type of asset pool they have to invest. In case of a bank fails to adhere or fails to meet their priority sector lending certificate. I leave it to my viewers to answer this in comment section so that the engagement happens regularly in the YouTube platform as well. We make a lot of engagement in our internal sessions, but I want to extend it to our YouTube subscribers too. Okay, so in co-lending model, term loans up to 10 lakhs can be provided and will be also calculated as PSL. ICICI Bank to offer financing solution to Tata Motors electric vehicle dealers. So in EV segment, there are so much of innovation, so much of financing subsidy, etc., are being given, and to boost everything up, we have discovered 5.8 million tons of lithium reserve in the state of Jammu Kashmir, which makes India the sixth largest country to having such a big deposit. Okay. In South American region, 65% of these deposit of lithium from which the batteries are created, your mobile battery, your EV vehicle battery is created, is deposited in three countries in a lithium triangle of Chile, Argentina and Bolivia, right? So this is a new discovery that puts India in the map of lithium reserves of the world. Okay, so that could be a question for general awareness, which is related to business, commerce, etc. So but this discovery has took place in the month of February. Next month we'll be discussing that. SBI launches e-bank guarantee facility in collaboration with NESL. Okay, NESL is the National E-Governance Service Limited. Now bank guarantees will also be issued electronically to avoid the frauds. You know what happened in the case of Nirav Modi. The serial numbers are hacked. Everything got compromised because at that time it was issued in physical format. So now e-bank guarantee can be issued, and it has made easier by NESL with the digital document execution technology, which offers e-stamp and e-sign features. Beneficiaries using NESL's platform will instantly get an e-bank guarantee without additional verification. That could be a game changer to stop the frauds in bank guarantee segment. Now ADB provides USD 131 million loan to support Jawaharlal Nehru Port container terminal upgrade. Okay, so when it comes to about loan assistance, it is one of the most important points of your exam point of view. So NSFTPL is a special purpose vehicle jointly owned by JM Boxy Ports Logistic Limited and CMA Terminals. And to develop that, ADB is providing 131 million USD or 1066 crore rupees. Okay, so the amount they may ask sometimes. PNB becomes first public sector bank to launch credit card for FDS. Okay, so Punjab National Bank has become India's first public sector bank to launch credit card for its fixed deposit customers. The bank informed its customers via a tweet, having an FT just got cool. Get lounge access, exciting reward points, cash advances, and much more with a credit card against a banks like ICICI etc. Were having this kind of facilities earlier. Okay, but now in public sector bank, PNB has launched such a program for its customer. SBI raises 9,718 crore via second tranche of infrastructure bond at 7.7 percentage. The country's largest lender has raised this much of amount through a 15-year of infrastructure debt. Okay, infrastructure bonds are securities that are exempt from competition of net demand and time liabilities, or it is used as a proxy deposit. Hence, they are not subject to cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity requirements. Got it? So, it can be done to avoid excess payment of CRR and SLR, and at the same time, that amount can be used for further lending into infrastructure projects. RBI not must for investors picking up more than 5% stake in private bank. So anybody wants to buy stakes shares of a private sector bank up to more than 5% needs to take prior approval of Reserve Bank of India. The existing promoters will also have to take RBI's approval if they intend to increase their holding beyond 10% in the bank. 5% for others, beyond 10% if the promoters want to raise the stake, it will be it will be uh, it will be capped to 10 percentage. We have taken in internal session a complete session on the ownership of private sector banks and ownership norms of private sector ownership and shareholding norms for private sector banks and public sector banks. Please do watch that session. Else, I will be uploading that PDF for our internal CBI. It will be important for CBI aspirants. I will be uploading that in the CBI's and professional banking PDF format, PDF folder. SBI ties up with WDRA for financing against ENWR. You know what is the limit for ENWR and to be calculated under PSL? It is 75 lakhs. Okay. Negotiable warehouse receipt, negotiable warehouse receipt. Okay. So if it is not negotiable, then it is 50 lakhs. So warehouse receipts, financing into warehouse receipts attract PSL norms. If it is ENWR, it will be 75 lakhs. If it is not negotiable, then it is 50 lakhs. Okay. Okay. So what is WDRA? Warehousing Development and Regulatory Authority, WDRA. WDRA issues the ENWR, negotiable warehouse receipts. It could be important for your exam point of view. Okay. So RBI has recently enhanced the loan limit from 50 lakhs to 75 lakhs for borrowers against the ENWR facility to classify it as a PSL. Okay. Aditya Birla, we are not only covering the news, the related terms which could be important for your exam point of view. Aditya Birla Health Insurance and Banca Insurance in partnership with PSB as a Banca Insurance provider. Aditya Birla will be partnered with PSB. Union Bank sanctions 150 agriculture drone loans for Garuda Kisan drones. India's leading drone startup Garuda Aerospace has announced its partnership with Union Bank of India. Under the partnership, about 150 Garuda Agri Kisan drones have received sanctions for drone loans under Kisan Pushpak scheme. Garuda Kisan drone is the first to receive the Agri drone loan in July 2022 from Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare Narendra Singh Tomar. Agri Infra Fund has about 1 lakh crore, out of which 1000 crore has been allocated to drones. Got it? New phenomena could be important for your exam point of view. Indian economy to grow at a robust 6.6% in FY 2024 prediction of World Bank. And as usual, before your central bank exam, before any exam, we give you a consolidated MCQ for all loan assistance, all GDP predictions by Indian entities like in budget, economic survey, and other rating agencies outside the country like Fitch, World Bank, IMF, ADB, etc. Okay, that will be provided before the exam. RBI grants payment aggregator license to Hitachi Payment Services. I will not go through that detail. You can find it once PDF is shared. PayRupee, India's fastest payment app, has been launched. Kerala's declared fast state to enable digital banking in all eligible accounts. RBI to auction green bonds in two tranches of 8,000 crore each in January and February. We read about it in our budget session. Not in budget. We read about it in our RBI circular gist session for the January 2023. Total 16,000 crore, and in two tranches it will be launched. The same scheme has been announced by finance minister in the last budget of 2022. Okay, so now the time for some MCQs. In case you are new to the platform and not yet subscribed, then don't hesitate to subscribe. India's only dedicated professional banking platform. Find out anyone, find out any course, any platform which is better than us in professional banking segment. And if you find them, you can join them. Don't find anyone, then you can join us. I always open it for our students to freely compare our content, our access, our result, our success, our expertise into these kind of exams, and then take a decision which course to join, which best in the country. I believe being in best or being in, you find us best, then only join. Yes. Under RBI's framework for dealing with DCBs, SBI is placed in the third bucket, whereby it is required to maintain additional common equity tier 1 CET1 at what percentage of the risk weighted assets RWA? 0.5, 0.6, 0.2, or 0.3? I expect a right answer from all of you, and I give you 5 seconds for that. You can answer me, and the right answer is 0.6. 0.6. Okay, and for ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank, it is 0.2%. HDFC Bank has partnered with which of the following organization for digital transformation journey? Google, Microsoft, ChatGPT, IBM. It could be important for the upcoming exam, but not for RRB, etc., which are going to be held 3 months hence. And it is Microsoft. Right. Next question. And yes, the detailed, we are just discussing some sample MCQs here. The detailed MCQ, 80 MCQs for the month of January, total MCQs, and a consolidated MCQ from August to till date for your exam point of view, and in the right exam pattern of IBPS is given to our enrolled students in the group. If you have not found it or you joined today in the course, you will be again supplied by these MCQs today so that you cover it in a fast pace. Which bank launches the Bikram credit card exclusive for Indian defense personnel? And it is none other than Bank of Baroda. Okay. Which bank launched eBank guarantee facility in collaboration with NESL? HDFC, ICICI, Bank of Baroda, or State Bank of India? 5 seconds are gone by. I will be telling you the answer. It is the State Bank of India, India's largest public sector bank, or India's largest bank for that matter. Asian Development Bank and Nabha Seba Freeport Terminal Private Limited has signed an MOU of how much USD for a loan agreement to upgrade the Jawaharlal Nehru Port container. 130 million, $120 million, $210, or $370. Is approximately $130 million or 1066 rupees 1066 million. Okay. Next question on your screens. Which bank becomes the first public sector bank to launch a credit card against FD? It is, tell the answer. I will wait for 2 seconds. I know you have read it right now. It is PNB. PNB. In a bid to have a greater scrutiny over banking ownership, Reserve Bank of India has said the new investors who buy over certain percentage of shares or convertible debt of a private sector bank will have to take a approval from Reserve Bank of 50, 60, 10, and 5%. Is nothing but 5 percentage. If promoters want to increase their stake beyond 10 percentage, they need to take the RBI's approval. Which bank sanctioned 150 agricultural drone loans for Garuda Kisan drones? Indian Bank, ICICI, Canara, Union Bank. It is Union Bank of India. These are the new age questions, and all detailed questions are provided to you in your enrolled course. So don't hesitate to join. If you need to crack exam, need to join a premium course. Okay, because when you join free course, you become the product. Don't waste your time and energy in free content. And yes, we we rest here for the dedicated session of banking and finance with the quote, the sun sets to rise again. So we'll rise again, we'll start the session again. Right at 10 o'clock, we'll have internal session for CBI, UBI, etc. And 9 o'clock, 9 p.m., we have the dedicated session. And thank you for being with us. Once again, if you have not subscribed to us, do subscribe and don't hesitate to join an exclusive course, dedicated groups here in the description. Thanking you again for your love, support, and time. Thank you.